Welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, weight loss coach, and lover of all things related to upleveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you get one step closer to your goal, whatever it is. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Welcome back, friends, and have I got an episode for you. I've got some tools to teach you. First of all, let me catch you up. I have been AIP compliant for about 90 days. If you don't know what that is, it stands for autoimmune protocol. It's an eating protocol for about 90 days now, with the exception of a couple of attempts to add some food back. Let me tell you, this has been an exercise in learning to embrace the misses, the fails, or the learning moments, as we like to call them, to make us feel better. But also, it has been an exercise in learning to really celebrate the hits and the things that I find that do work. And sometimes I don't think we celebrate our wins enough. Learning how to live with Hashi, as I call it, is teaching me so much about myself. And it's also inspiring me to help you learn more about yourself. I mean, isn't that really what our journey here is all about? To understand self and then help others. All right, so 90 days in, and it has been ups and downs, but mostly ups. But I have to admit, I have had a lot of failed attempts in the kitchen. I am learning to cook way more than I ever intended to know. But if you're autoimmune, it's going to be that way. And honestly, even if you aren't, clean eating is always going to be more supportive to your body than fueling with toxic foods. And besides the obvious culprits like gluten and dairy, it's useful to find out what is toxic for your body. And everybody's different. I thought that I was eating healthy before, but I have learned that I was not. Much of what comes from the marketing that we see and the way the commercial food industry spins advertising and the lack of information on labels has you thinking that what you're putting in your mouth is good for you. It may not be. I am becoming very interested in even more truth in advertising and labels because what I have discovered is, for example, cleaning up the toxins that I use for my hair and my skin, I read things on the label that say paraben-free, sulfate-free, free of this and free of that, and so I thought it was healthy. When I plug it into my toxicity app, I find out that it's a 10 out of 10 for endocrine disruptor and toxicity and cancer causing. Now that's not only not safe for me, but it's not safe for you either. For sure, if someone is autoimmune, and that's about 24 million of us, and always more women than men, the label should be clearly marked for toxicity levels so that the consumer can make a better choice. EWG.org has an amazing website that you can do your own research and determine what products you're willing to take a gamble on. And I'm going to put a link in the show notes. It's free, costs nothing. I am not affiliated, but so insightful. All right, so let's get on with what you came here for. This is episode number 115 and 6 steps to overcoming procrastination. Even the best goal-getter procrastinates. There. I said it. I even procrastinate. Logically, I know that if I just do the thing, whatever the thing is, I will feel 100 times better. I know that I have already spent more time actually thinking about doing the thing than the thing will actually take to do. I hope I said that right. I have an example for you. Several weeks ago, I had put on my list of things to do to vacuum the stall walls. If you don't have horses, you should know that the bedding that we put in the stalls makes the walls dusty. So periodically, I take the shop vac out and I give it a good vacuum. I feel good and I love how it looks when I'm done. And I always feel good when it's done, but it's something that I noticed I will put off and put off and put off. And I always come up with justification to appease myself for procrastinating on this thing. One thing that I have noticed is that when I do that, I can't stop thinking about that thing and it just keeps hanging out there. And if you're like me, you do that too. And that's how it we end up thinking that it takes so much more time than it actually does. So why do we do that? First of all, even though you might have thought, if you're like me, I feel like I'm just being lazy. Procrastination has nothing to do with being lazy, but to get past it, it's helpful to drill down to what is it if it's not being lazy. When I drill down, I found thoughts like, it's boring, it's not fun. And when I think about those thoughts, I think, okay, does cleaning stalls have to be exciting and entertaining? Do we always have to be excited and entertained and not bored? Well, no. But if I do want to be entertained and less bored, how could I make that happen? Make your brain solve the problem. That is managing your brain versus letting your brain manage you. Your brain is always going to want to talk you out of things like that. Maybe your brain is perceiving the task to be too difficult or ambiguous or not intrinsically rewarding or lacking in personal meaning. All of that may be so, but you are the one who controls that, not the task. Creating a life by design means you cause the effect in your life, and you do that by not letting your brain bully you into not doing the thing that you know you'll feel better when you get it done. Notice I'm not even talking about attacking that big audacious goal. If you're like me, it's the bunch of little stuff around you that you walk by every day thinking one day you'll get to it. Those are the things that cause us the procrastination. Be the general contractor of your life and stop letting the subs tell you what to do. All right, here we go. As a reminder, don't even try to do this in your head. Do this on paper and be open to whatever the brain offers you. Number 1, make a list of all the things that you have been putting off, but you can't stop thinking about. Number 2, determine the value of completing that task, the thing that you put on your list. What's the value of completing it? What will it do for you if you get it done? Number 3, are you the one that has to do it? Or is there an opportunity to source it out? You get to decide that. Can this be broken down into bite-sized pieces? You get to decide that too. Number 4, determine what is the reason. This is where you really get to drill down. What is the reason you have not created this outcome yet? Really make your brain tell you all the things that come up for you. Why are you putting this off? Be honest and don't be afraid of the answers. Don't be afraid and don't make it mean anything about you. Number 5, create the action plan. Literally, step 1, step 2, step 3. And step 1 could be open or Google and find someone to outsource it, right? Step 2 could be pick up the phone and call them. Step 3 could be arrange the date. That could be your steps. Or literally, step 1 is get out the shop vac. Step 2, clean it up. So on and so forth. Really break it down into steps. All right, number 6, finally. Commit to giving step 1 5 minutes. That's it. Just say, I'm going to give step 1 5 minutes and just get started. Pick the time and the date and give it 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, I promise you, you will find yourself doing the thing. There are a couple of reasons why this process works. Number 1, you spend time with that part of you that is on the struggle bus. Sometimes we want to ignore her, but you can't. When she gets a little bit of attention, that goes a very long way. You're listening to her side of the story and giving her a voice without letting her take over. And until you do that, she actually is taking over. Number 2, when you break down the task into bite-sized pieces and then give step 1 a few minutes of your time, you give yourself time to allow motivation and inspiration to show up. Before you know it, you have knocked out the thing, and now you're able to hit the brain's reward center. It feels good to get this stuff done. I know this is a pretty benign example, but it works for the bigger goals too, like gap analysis you've been putting off for months and months and months, working on updating your resume or getting a certification. It literally works for everything. All right, my friend, I hope that this has been helpful and useful to you. And if it has, hit me with a star and a few nice words. That is what I have for you this week. And now, go have the best day ever.
That's a wrap. I hope that you were able to experience a mind shift of your own today. Listen, if you loved this podcast, you should totally check out my Life by Design 6-week boot camp. It's a work at your own pace workshop and something that you can do over and over and over again to uplevel your results and get ready for a transformation at the speed of life.